Good day. We have Double Alai, 10% ABV, rated at 86 or something on Beer Epic. I can't remember. And comparing that will be Bronx Brewery, now Youse Can't Leave, Double IPA, 10.1 ABV, which has a similar rating on Beer Etiquette. Now, when you pour these beers, you can smell fruitiness, and when I poured the Double Alai, it kind of looked like apricot juice. When I poured this, it reminded me of pineapple juice, but it's a little bit darker. I would say pineapple juice is a bit brighter, but compared to the Double Alai, it's more like pineapple juice. Well, we can see that the Double Alai is retaining more head, more foam, but they both appear to be about the same in clarity or haziness. Now, the last time that I compared this, it had a certain taste to it that I didn't like, and I couldn't describe it. Maybe it was a minerally taste, maybe it was a licorice taste, but whatever that flavor that was in there is probably the main reason that I didn't choose it over Dogfish Head 90. So this is a double IPA or an imperial IPA comparison, and we'll get started here. Let me mix them up. I just need to make sure of one thing, that the glass is marked, and it is. All right, I think that should be good enough. I felt foam. That's probably the Double Alai, and that's a good IPA there, a good double IPA. It's easy drinking. It's not initially bitter going in. The bitterness comes on in the aftertaste, and it's still building even after the swallow. So it seems to have a delayed bitterness. I like it. Fruitiness, let's see. I've often heard people use pine as a flavor descriptor, and I would say that this does taste kind of piney, although I'm not totally sure what pine tastes like. I'm just going by what I imagine it to taste like. Now I'm looking for fruity flavors in here. It reminded me of apricots, but I'm not sure if I can detect any apricot flavor in here. I'm also looking for tropical fruit flavors like orange or citrusy fruit flavors. I'm not really getting a lot of that either. I would say it is dominated by pininess. Okay, so let's try this one. I could smell it. This one's more fruity. This one's sweeter going in. This has got to be the Bronx Brewery because it has that taste that came on right before the finish. That taste that I didn't care for the last time I tried this. So it was fairly sweet going in. Not quite as bitter as the other one. In fact, it's rather low on bitterness, I think. And as I recall from the last review, this was 50 IBU, whereas Dogfish had 90, which I compared it against was 90. It was a lot more bitter. And I think that the IBU of Jai Alai is high as well, in the 80s, 85 maybe. Okay. Maybe some apricot flavor in there, a little bit, but I'm still trying to describe this flavor. Maybe I was going to say guava, but I'm not sure about that. Because I think the guava flavor is okay. I like it, but I'm just trying to think of what kind of fruit would be associated with this flavor, if it is a fruit at all. It might be something else. But we tend to think of fruity flavors with IPAs because of the hops they use and everything else. And plus, some of them are brewed to have a tropical flavor, like Jai Alai, and Florida Man especially. It could be a really sour pineapple. That's what it could be. All right, let's rinse and repeat. That's sparkling water, which I hope does a better job of rinsing, but I don't know. Sparkling water or anything carbonated has carbonic acid into it, and that's what gives you the tingling sensation. All right, let's try this now. Like I say, a sour pineapple, maybe. Although it's not really tropical, maybe. I'm thinking of some other fruits. Definitely no strawberry or blueberry or berry type flavors. I'm thinking of fruit like a mango or an apricot or even a pineapple with sourness to it, or a sour mango, or maybe a sour pomegranate, or partially sour. I think this was much more drinkable, this one. But now there's a flavor coming out in here that I don't care too much for. And I guess it's that piney flavor. So let's see if this one has pininess in it. I'm going to see if I can detect any kind of piney similar to this one. This one seems to have a pine cone flavor to it. Now, you might, know what a pine cone is. And if you try to imagine the taste of one of those, I would say that this might be close to what you imagine a pine cone might taste like. But I was looking for piney flavors. And the best that I could come up with was a pine cone. All right, now let's try this one again. I would say this has some caramely flavor to it. Or maybe a bit toffee. Something along those lines. And I'm kind of not liking this one now. Yes, I'm definitely leaning towards this one now. But at first, well, now there's a very unpleasant aftertaste that just came up. This one was good at first, the very first sip. But now that I'm halfway through the glass and I know which one is which now, at least I think I do. I think this is the Bronx, and this is the Jai Alai. Problem is, I don't know now, I now know which is which, and I haven't made a decision. So this blind taste test is no longer blind, because I still have to make a decision, and I know which one is which. At least I think I do. One of them has a mark on the bottom of the glass, but I'll be able to tell for sure. So, it is smooth going in. You think you're going to be getting a fruity type of flavor when it goes in, but that sensation goes away almost immediately. And then the piney flavor comes on, and then followed by the bitterness. Where this one is smoother, not as strong. Now that I've gotten this far, I think that I am ready to make a decision, and I'm leaning towards this one, but I still want to do a little bit more. This one's stronger. Okay, camera shut off. Battery is probably going bad. So I'll just say that the combination of these two beers, I think I might prefer to each one separately. But I'm giving the win here to Bronx Brewery. So that's all I've got to say about that.